Hey,
Hi,
Emily.
Samantha.
I have a question
Oh,
for you.
I hope that in the showing of this recording, there's many multiple of us actually, since today we're talking
I was
duplicates.
I was just gonna say, did you know that I'm a duplicate?
I did know that you're a duplicate. So
I'm a
you actually
twin.
have an extra happy birthday. It is your birthday today. Happy birthday and to your twin.
I have an expertise in duplicate management.
Oh, that is a whole nother video to record, actually. So, but I'm really glad that we're able to laugh and do some fun, when we're talking about duplicates, because I think that for any person, when you hear duplicate in relation to your data, it is one of those scary feelings of things have gone wrong. We can't trust our data. It's a really visceral
It's like
part of it.
existential. It's always like,
Yes.
oh no, we're never gonna be able to get out of this situation.
Trust our
Yeah.
data, trust our database. How do you choose and then choice that you have to make some choices in duplicate management. So it's a lot.
And
So
then
just
there's false duplicates. So there's like two people who really do have the same name. And
mhm.
then there's also a different kind of false duplicates, which is like when you're running an opportunity contact role report and you see the same opportunity more than once, it's because there's more than one contact role. Or
Mhm.
if you're running any donation report, it doesn't even have to be in a system like Salesforce, then sometimes you're going to see data repeated. And so it takes like a special part of my brain to remember what does each row represent? Because if each row represents a person, then I might have a duplicate problem. But if each row represents a donation, then it's pretty great to see the same names show up again, because it means people are donating more than once, or coming to programs more than once. But then if I see two donations at the same time from the same person, then I think, what if there was a glitch? And this recently happened, Emily, and I reached out to somebody and I was like, I think that there's a duplicate donation because I see them from the same time. And the person was like, this person really did make two donations at the same time. So this, like, we get into one of our favorite topics, which is data matching reality. Do you have anything to
Mm.
say about data matching reality?
Yeah, we have lots to say about data matching reality. First off, I think is again just this idea of grace around the feelings of it. I think similar to other topics that we talk about with this, it's not an endpoint that you get to a finish line and you say our data matches reality. I mean, we know first off, reality changes every second,
Yeah.
so it's always a journey, and anything that we can do, I think, to not feel the feeling of playing catch up, that the
Mhm.
duplicate like train has gone and we're just trying to run after and catch it up, that we are actually having plans of management, having our eyes on what these situations are, the real dupes, the false dupes, that can all, I think, be part of helping to match it to reality all along the way.
I love you saying that, Emily, and the whole grace thing. Like, I really need to hear that right now because there's a project I'm working on that has been not super successful, and I've been feeling bad about myself and just being like, yeah, that's part of the journey and so many opportunities for learning. Um,
Yeah.
and then secondly, I think you raised a really great point about dupes, which is that um, I've been working on this big dupes project and there were 7,000 duplicates, which seemed really overwhelming at first. And the first thing I did was create a report to find out any new duplicates being created. So at least we could be like, we're going to stop the new ones, or we're going to try to understand the new ones, and then try to make sure that we're monitoring new ones and that new ones aren't like making the problem worse while we figure out how we got into this situation. And then we'll deal with the older ones in a strategic, calm way, because guess what? The problem isn't getting worse.
That is such a great approach that you came up with. And I think it's applicable in so many areas, even outside of duplicate management. And so let me try to
Say
rephrase what I
more,
think you said. Yeah.
please.
So I heard you take a big topic, duplicate management, and at least in what you were just describing, break it first off into two smaller, more manageable pieces. How the process of duplicates being created going forward and how to address that. And the idea that there are all these past duplicates to be dealt with and dealing with that in its own. And if we're trying to do that all together with one solution, or just even at the same time with the same mindset, that I think that would be a lot more difficult. And because you've separated them, they seem a lot more manageable on their own.
So Emily, you were there when we figured out what was making new ones get created. I'm putting you on the spot, but do you want to share, like, what did we learn from trying to answer that question? Like, one thing that comes to mind is that we had to check a lot of different places for how contacts even get started in the first place.
That's true. And having a sense of how contacts get created was a really good lesson in remembering to document and to have notes and comments placed wherever possible in all of our systems.
Yeah. So like one of the things we did was every form and every new donation contact that's created and whatever, we like created this like hidden field that's like, I was created by this.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that was really helpful. And you know, actually one of the things that came out of that, a little separate to your question, is that we found places where we very intentionally said we're going to potentially create duplicates here. We're not going to put something in place to stop it happening. There's going to have to be an ongoing process to check the ones that get created out of this situation. And that's something to
duplicates are not a failure.
Yeah,
they're a part of life and they require human interaction.
That's exactly right. And who better to do it than the people who, especially for contact duplicates, the people who are actually interacting with contacts. So in the situation you're talking about, these aren't nameless people, faceless names in our database. We actually know a good number. The people who are working with know a good number of these people. And so it's for us to be able to like make choices about them or figure out what they're coming in. It's so helpful to have the people actually working on the ground, knowing these people, the deep part of the process. And I think that sense of like who manages duplicates, it's definitely not, if you're lucky enough to have an IT team, it can't solely be the IT team. And these are real, again, matching reality. These are real people we're talking about.
Yeah. And I like that. I do have this kind of goofy like spiritual practice when I'm doing this type of work of really thinking about the people as I'm dealing with these contact records, and just thinking about like, wow, this person filled out a form or this person made a donation and maybe they hit submit twice and our system didn't catch that, that there was a duplicate. But I just think like this person is really committed to our mission, or like we need this person. And I'm so grateful that this person is in our orbit. And when you have 7,000 duplicates to go through, then I have had a lot of time to like steep this tea bag of like appreciation for all of these people. And it feels really good.
And you really got into it, right? Like, so I know just more recently we were talking about what are some of the overarching rules we can apply to say anyone in this situation do this, like merge, delete, whatever. But you went really deep into the individual manual merging of things. Why did you choose to do that?
I chose to do it because a couple of reasons. So one is I wanted to see how like ridiculous it would be to do the whole thing manually. Like I was like, I don't know, maybe like an hour a day. And then I realized pretty soon that didn't make sense, but I needed to try it. And I always think that we should do everything manually first before we try to automate it, because like that's how I learn. And I want to recreate like all of the manual steps. They all need to happen if we automate it. So I need to understand what they are.
Gem, boom, knowledge bomb right there.
Then I wanted to see how similar are these two records. And there's a nice comparison, like little table that shows up on the screen that I was using in the platform Salesforce, but I think many platforms have something similar. And so it helped me see, some of these I was like, well, this person has 2 different email addresses and I don't know this person. So I don't know which email address should be the one that we keep. And also in that screen, it doesn't let you be like, well, I want to move the one from the losing record, but I want to move some data over. It's sort of like you have to pick for each field one or the other, but only like on a field by field basis. So you can't say this value from this field actually belongs in this field.
Like if we wanted to say you have like 4 email fields, and if you have some on one record and some on another, let's try to put them all in
You don't want to replace them. You just want to like add them to the additional emails field or something. So you can't do that in the dupe interface, but I didn't know that until I was in that situation. And now it actually has been really instructive because we can do that in a spreadsheet. We can move data from into rows and fields, and we can do all kinds of stuff. And then eventually we're going to need to put it back into the standard format. So that was really interesting. And then last but not least, I'm going to leave a teaser for anybody who made it this far in the video, which is that I went on the deepest dive that I imaginable about what the difference is in the system we were using, which is Salesforce, between contact merge and the nonprofit success pack contact merge. And they actually are different. And I didn't understand how. And if you would like to know, you should reach out to us because I wrote a Google Doc on it. It's not like a fancy download paper or something, but I would love to share it with anybody who has gotten this far into the video and is deeply curious about duplicate management. We are so hungry to share what we learned with the community.
Yeah, and learn more too. So we decided to do a lot of this dupe management that we've been talking about together, just using the tools that we sort of know right off the bat, right? So what reports we can make in Salesforce and using spreadsheets, Google Sheets or Excel to do any of the manipulation before we then go back in to do merges through, say, a data loader or something like that. But there's a lot of great duplicate checking apps and methods and processes I'm sure people have in mind. So if you have extra dupe management knowledge that you can share, please do, because
even if
again,
you're not a twin or a triplet,
yeah,
we still want to hear from you.
Yeah, I need that knowledge. I'm not a twin, so I'm so lucky, Samantha, to have you as a partner to do this work with.
And I'm so lucky to have you because you know what? There were so many times when I was doing this project where I just felt like I'm just not sure. And I need to check it with somebody. And so we got to have this deep collaboration, and I want more people to get a taste of that because it's really special.
Yes, it's so good. So on the last note, duplicate management, not a fearful thing. We learned some great ways to approach it so that it's much more manageable and seeing it as the journey. And happy birthday, Samantha, because it's your birthday. Happy birthday.
Woo, woo, woo. Bye,
Bye.
Emily.